Right, we're back at my local Harewood for a 2-day event. We're just coming down for second practice. Harewood's one of the places where you get 2 practice runs. The British Hillclimb Cup and British National Hillclimb Championships are here, all the fastest guys in the country. So it always runs a bit slower, hence why we're on dinner time now and we're still on practice, but we should get 2 timed runs this afternoon. So we will see how practice goes. 65 point something in first practice. It was 50% wet, 50% dry. Turned up this morning, it was very wet, but it quickly cleared, a bit like at Epping. So it's very blustery, very overcast, but the rain is holding off. It is forecast showers all day today and tomorrow, so we could be hit by rain at any point, but we will keep praying that it stays away and we get some dry runs in. So target wise, the target for my class is my target time I set a couple of years back, which is a 64.4. Not sure if we're going to get to that unless we get some sun out, but a 64 should definitely be possible because we've just done a 65.1 I think in practice. So this doesn't actually count, this one, because this is second practice, but it'll give us a good indication of what the grip levels are like and how much we can push. I'm getting tons of ABS kicking in again. I think these pads I've put on at the front are way better than the car can handle. And as soon as I put any force down on the brake pedal, the ABS is kicking in and I aren't slowing down. So I need to very much caress it. Doesn't need much pressure whatsoever. Yeah, I nearly lost it in the first run at the last corner. It just could not slow down in time. The other thing is the handbrake has decided to stop doing handbrakey things and it's just rolling when I put it on, so I'm having to keep the brake pedal pressed, which isn't ideal, but we haven't got any other option. I need to tighten the handbrake up at some point. As you can see, the shoot at Harewood is very much on a decline. It's not, you know, there's too much of a decline for it to hold the car, so even with it on, look, I'm still moving forwards. Not much I can do other than just hold the brake pedal. So yeah, let's see how we get on this one. We'll give it 9 temps because it is dry and see what time we come up with. Very similar to first practice. I'll have to give it that bit more for first time run and get into a 64, I think. Might have to tweak the tyre pressures because they're a bit low. But yeah, we're struggling to slow down for that last one again. Right, we've had lunch, we are heading down for timed run 1. We're probably only get 2, and with showers forecast for around 4 o'clock, this may be the optimal run of the weekend. The sun is just kind of breaking through, so it's heated up slightly. So yeah, I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. We have to get a 64, so we've done 2 65.0 somethings in both practices. Agonisingly close. So a 64 is definitely there, but we need to hook one up, because tomorrow may be rained off. We just don't know. It's forecast showers kind of all day, but it was today, and in the main it stayed dry. So yeah, let's just go all at it and see if we can hook one up. Alright.
Where are we going?
Mediocre.
What do we need?
Just a 64.4 is the target for what I'm doing.
Rip it.
Nice. A bit better. Definitely more grip there with the sun out. Just a 10th off the target time. Come on, that's more like it. Yeah, definitely felt more grip there. Let's see if the weather holds out. It's not forecast to, but at least we've got a respectable time on for once.
350 say
Right, we're heading down for timed run 2. So we're 64.5 for timed run 1. Target of 64.4, so we're only a 10th off. We've now got back into the 64s after a couple of events of being way off due to other factors. Conditions still not ideal. The sun's gone in, the wind's picked up, but it's dry, it's warm-ish, so we'll see if we can get any quicker. Tyre pressures I have not mentioned, but we are very low, the lowest I've ever run them at, so we're at about 27 on the rear and 32 at the front, although that was first thing after the first run. With the temperature warming up slightly, they may have gone up a PSI or 2, so they may be okay, but I thought I can't be bothered changing them. It seems to be working alright. I'm not noticing any particular understeer stroke oversteer issues, so yeah, let's hope this sun comes out as we get down to the start line, and we'll try and get off the start a bit quicker. We're at 2.9s and 2.8s. It's always hard here. I'm sick of moaning about it, Harewood, but we'll see if we can get a 10th or 2 off the start.
Just a bit of a delay because of the rerun.
Alright, okay.
There was a red flag at the top end.
So yeah, let's see how we go. scruffy as hell. Try going too fast, 65.2. Oh, we're all over the shop. Yeah, I was beyond the edge of grip there in several places. Definitely went for it, but definitely need to rein it back in. But you don't know without trying. Yeah, we were slip sliding everywhere. Oh. So, coming down for the last timed run. Timed run 3. It's been very quick. They're just doing this class, the BARC Midlands and the Harewood Regulars class on its own. The national guys have finished their practice, so I think there's just 2 groups going out, so they've called us straight back down, which may be good or may not be, but we'll find out. The sun's out. It is 25 degrees now, the hottest it's been all day. Can we make the most of it? We need to rein it back in, as I've just said. Went far too exuberant. Went full kamikaze mode on that last one and nearly lost it on every corner, which is scrubbing speed. If I'm scrubbing the tyres, I'm scrubbing speed. So let's try and be 100% neat and accurate and see if we can get another 64. Right. Good deal. At least we've got another one at 64s. Yeah, just a bit scruffy now and again. Just lost traction, but I would have guessed it'd have been that time. There's definitely another fast time in there if it just hooks up. We might get one more run, they're saying. Who knows? Right, we are getting a bonus 4th run at the end of the day, so it doesn't actually count for the BARC Championship, only the first 3 count, so we finished a 10th off the target. But let's see if we can hit the target with this bonus run for what it's worth. It's going to be rain clouds and rain spells all day tomorrow if the weather forecast is correct, so let's make the most of another dry run and see if we can stick in another 64 and keep it neat. Again, I need to rein a little bit off. I think I'm going into the S's too quick and it's just understeering a little bit, so let's try and be as neat as possible and precise as possible and see if we can do any better. Tyre pressures have got up to where they'd normally be now. I've just checked the front and they're at 34.5, so yeah, it's a good job I didn't change them at all earlier. They've gradually over the course of the day, as it's warmed up and as we've got more runs, just naturally increased anyway, so everything's good. I hope the car's not too hot, and then let's give it one last blast. 64. Yeah, just a couple of tiny errors that cost me. Going into Orchard, too slow. Took too long to get round the corner, but another good time nonetheless. So we are back to normal. Back to blitzing 64s at Harewood. On another day with ideal conditions, maybe a new PB is there. But we'll finish with that. 3 64s, not to be sniffed at. And we'll see what the weather welcomes us with tomorrow. Right, back for day 2 at Harewood on the Sunday. And as the weatherman predicted, they don't always get it right, but they got it right this time. We've got showers all through the day. It's been drizzling basically all morning, so we are coming down for second practice. The weather on the horizon, as you can see, looks very bleak, but we may, hopefully we'll get a dry run at some point, but certainly not for this. So we are going to be gingerly going up the hill this morning. Conditions will be treacherous, and there's no awards for binning it in practice, unless there's one that I don't know about. But yeah, we're hopefully going to get a dry run at some point, but we'll see how this morning goes. We're going to get a timed run before lunch, and then 1 or 2 timed runs after lunch. So we ain't going to be getting near any target time, but let's just see what we can do in the wet. Yeah, and see how that compares to everybody else. It's going to be very interesting and hopefully not too frightening. No point pushing then. I think my best wet time is a 69, so yeah. Let's see if it dries out. It's stopped raining now, so you never know. It's going to be like this all day. Right, we are heading down for first timed run. So a 73 in practice, and conditions are very much, oh, I'm reining in, conditions very much similar. It's been raining quite heavy. It's just eased up a bit now, so it's just drizzling, but it has been raining heavy, and the track is very, very wet. So we ain't going to be getting any decent time on this one, but it's the same for everyone. So let's just see what time we can get. I think we'll struggle to get anywhere near the 73 from previous, because it's more wet now than before. But there was a decent amount of grip there, just not on the start line. The start was horrendous, so I need to just literally crawl away and then just see what grip's there as we go around, but nothing too exuberant because we don't want to be in the scenery. too bad. Only a couple of seconds off me out and out quickest wet time. So yeah, definitely can do quicker off the start. The start was yet again horrendous. Even worse than before, but give it as much as I dare in the circumstances. See what it's like for the afternoon run. Right, we're heading down for timed run 2. So 64.5 for timed run 1. Target of 64.4, so we're only a tenth off. We've now got back into the 64s after a couple of events of being way off due to other factors. Condition is still not ideal. The sun's gone in, the wind's picked up, but it's dry, it's warm-ish, so we'll see if we can get any quicker. Tyre pressures I have not mentioned, but we are very low, the lowest I've ever run them at, so we're at about 27 on the rear and 32 at the front, although that was first thing after the first run. With the temperature warming up slightly, they may have gone up a PSI or 2, so they may be okay, but I thought I can't be bothered changing them. It seems to be working alright. I'm not noticing any particular understeer stroke oversteer issues, so yeah, let's hope this sun comes out as we get down to the start line, and we'll try and get off the start a bit quicker. We're at 2.9s and 2.8s. It's always hard here. I'm sick of moaning about it, Harewood, but we'll see if we can get a tenth or 2 off the start.
Just a bit of a delay because of the re-run.
Alright, okay.
There was a red flag at the top end.
So yeah, let's see how we go. Yeah, the start wasn't the best. The 64's definitely there if we get another dry run, but it started spitting now, so who knows. Oh, agonisingly close again. Ultimate grip's not there, but yeah, it's close. Coming down for timed run 3, last one of the day. Just started spitting again, ironically, but the track is dry, so let's hope it's not too bad. There is some sun on the horizon as well as rain, but we should be straight down to the start. So yeah, let's attack it. We've got nothing to lose. I don't think we're going to beat yesterday's time, but let's see if we can sneak into a 64. Just need to get away from the start line better, but the start line grip is just non-existent. So we'll try and crawl away, try and put one together. I've pumped the front tyres up to 34.5 and the rears to 28.5. Look at this, we're straight down to the start line. So car's nice and warm, not hanging about. let's give it 110%, see if we can get a 64. I'm going to try going into third gear, I think, before Orchard, because I'm on the rev limiter in second and then I'm slowing down too early, so I may, it depends how I feel at the time, but I may go into third, take the first corner over the curbs and then go down into second and see if that helps at all. May balls the run up, may not, but like I say, we've got nothing to lose. See if we can finish off with a decent run. Quicker, but that first half was horrendous, sliding everywhere. Well, we went for it, it would have been a 64. I actually got a decent start but messed it up through the S's. I think it may be quicker going to third before Orchard, I'll have to analyse it, but yeah, it felt better. So we'll see what it's like on the GoPro, but there we go, that concludes the day. Right, back from Harewood. Bit of a mixed bag overall, conditions wise, performance wise, results wise, but yeah, not too disheartened. Saturday we turned up, miserable conditions, but a bit like Epping a few weeks back, it soon cleared and the vast majority of the day was dry and decent conditions, probably like 7.5, 8 out of 10. Sunday was a completely different kettle of fish. Rain all to dinner time, and then it did dry up in the afternoon, the odd drizzle here and there, but we did get a couple of dry runs in, but conditions were probably only ever 6 out of 10. It never dried up and the sun come out enough to get good times. So on the Saturday, 265 flats in practice meant, yeah, there's definitely back into a 64 on here. We did a banker run on timed one, which was a 64.5. The target for the weekend was a 64.4, which was, I think, the time I set 2 or 3 years back. So started with a 64.5, thought, yeah, we should be on for a good time here. And then for one reason or another, never actually bet that. It probably was there on an ideal run, but just a few tiny errors here and there and asking too much of the car. I think that was the main thing, that because I got a good run in, and the same on the Sunday as well with the first dry run, there was nothing to lose really. So I probably went more aggressive than what I needed to. And tons of tyre squeal on the video, and if the tyres are screeching, they're obviously giving up grip and I'm losing fractions of a second. Yeah, I think ultimately I just ended up going for it, but just asking too much of the car and the tyres in those conditions. I think if it had been red hot and the track was hot, it would have probably held on, and that's what I had in my head. I thought, nothing to lose, I've just got to go for it and hope it sticks, but it didn't quite stick. And then, so I never actually bet the 64.5. Still a very good time though. And then on to the Sunday. Wet in the morning, like we say, which you go into survival mode. You just try and get up in a respectable time so you don't look like Miss Daisy, and just don't bin it. Yeah, you're never going to get anywhere near any records, but I was lying second, I think, in the rain behind the GI Yaris, which is obviously much better suited, so still did a respectable time, but hoping that it dried up, and then it did dry up at lunchtime. We did a 65.08 for time run 1, so a banker run, and then I thought, right, well, there's a 64 on. I knew it wasn't probably going to be a good 64 because conditions weren't as good as the Saturday, but went all in and then just lost it on the S's. Took too much curb on the inside, which unsettled the car, and then had to correct it, which meant I wasn't at the ideal point for the next part of the S's, so I had to correct that, which then meant for the chippies down at the bottom, I wasn't on the ideal line, and tyre squeal around there. Tried to make up for it on the next corner by braking later and broke too late and went deep into that corner, so that little section there cost me half a second, which would have, but the rest of the run were good. The start was my best of the day, back to a 2.7. Sector 2 were good, and then all the other sectors were there or thereabouts, but yeah, the S's complex and just after cost me half a second, which would have put me well into a 64 again. So that was the optimal for day 2. Didn't quite do it. So yeah, overall probably 8 out of 10. Could have done a bit better, but glad to get 3 times on the Saturday back in the 64s where it should be. Also good to point out that my car's been performing brilliantly for the other events and been getting a lot of PBs, but back to Harewood where it all started, and I've done years and years there, it's performing as expected. So all the other events, it's not been the car as such, it's been me knowing the track better and pushing the car to the limits of the car, where obviously I wasn't doing that before. So yeah, good to know that the cars, because I've not done anything to the car, and I'm getting PBs everywhere. So is it producing more power? But no, I don't think it is. I think it's just me learning the tracks more the more I go back to them. Conditions this year in the main as well have been excellent everywhere, where in previous years might not have been optimal. So everything's contributing to a good year so far. Decent at Harewood, if not ideal. And we go to Lowton Park for the next one, which is forecast to be back to 30 degrees and red hot. Just there for the Sunday though, so we'll see what times are like on a Saturday, and then we'll attack it when we get there on the Sunday. Thank you very much.